Hey there, everyone. It's GG Sober Sun. March 18th. When alcoholics first come into AA and we face the fact that we must spend the rest of our life without liquor, it often seems like an impossibility to us. So AA tells us to forget about the future and take it one day at a time. All we really have is now. We have no past time and no future time. As the saying goes, yesterday is gone, forget it. Tomorrow never comes, don't worry. Today is here, get busy. All we have is the present. The past is gone forever, and the future never comes. When tomorrow gets here, it will be today. Am I living one day at a time? And I don't know that necessarily AA tells us to forget about the future. It does tell us to take it one day at a time. But we don't forget about the future, right? But when we get strung out and we start doing what's called future tripping, right? Panicking or stressing about what's going to happen in the future, we just bring it back. Just reel it in, and stay in the present moment. And planning for the future is a present tense activity, right? We don't have to plan the outcome, but we can plan for our future today. That's really what we're doing when we abstain from alcohol and we continue to come to the meetings. It is important to be in community with other like-minded people who have walked the same path or similar enough path that we can find some identity with other people. To know that we don't have to do it alone, Just the fact that when I came, there were people who were willing to share their mistakes with me. That was refreshing enough. But to know that we did some of the similar things and experienced that moment when somebody asks you with that look on their face, do you know what you did last night? And experience that just like, oh, we know what we're talking about because we've experienced it. And then when we experience that identification, it's a comfort, And we are uniquely qualified to help other alcoholics recover. So we need to stick around to experience that. And that is on a day-by-day basis. The book says what we really have is a daily reprieve from alcohol based upon the maintenance of our spiritual condition. And we do that by coming to meetings, by praying twice in a meeting, and do a form of meditation by sitting quietly and reflecting while other people talk or read. Meditation for the day. Persistence is necessary if you are to advance in spiritual things. By persistent prayer, persistent, firm, and simple trust, you achieve the treasures of the Spirit. By persistent practice, you can eventually obtain joy, peace, assurance, security, health, happiness, and serenity. Nothing is too great in the spirit realm for you to obtain if you persistently prepare yourself for it. And persistently preparing is prayer, meditation, attending meetings regularly, right? And that old saying always comes to mind that 7 days between meetings makes 1 week. Double entendre. And one meeting a week was not enough for me personally. I was still full of resentments, and it seemed like I had to go to that meeting. You know what I mean? Rather than hanging out with my friends regularly. And it says in working with others, frequent contact with others and newcomers and our friends is a bright spot in our life. So why would we deprive ourselves of that for only, for 6 days out of a week? So more meetings, more serenity. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may persistently carry out my spiritual exercises every day. I pray that I may strive for peace and serenity. Yeah, and my spiritual exercises have expanded over the years. I heard for years people in AA talk about getting on their knees every morning, and I thought, that just sounds boastful, and there were times in my recovery when I was in a really religious phase where I did that, and I felt boastful about it. But after being single for a while, I started doing it on a daily basis. Actually, it was before that. It was before I even met her. So it's been a few years now. And then the beginning of 2024, I read the book Atomic Habits. And that really helped sort of track that something that I would do on a daily basis. And I actually get on my knees. And I actually put my head to the floor. Because I always kind of admired, when I was in Saudi Arabia for Desert Storm, some of the Muslim truck drivers that would bring fuel into the base, and they would be in a long line of these tanker trucks. And I would see these Muslim men get out of their trucks and spread out their prayer, rug, and say their prayers face to the ground. And that, to me, I admired that dedication to reverence. And I didn't see it like this, but it's more about connection for me today. It's an opportunity to plug into my higher power and humble myself to my higher power. And day by day, surrendering my will and my life, doing that third step prayer every morning, so I can get that daily reprieve from alcohol, not just from alcohol, but from self. It says, relieve me of the bondage of self, that I may better do your will. And that's that. There are so many layers to that. that is a lifetime pursuit that I can continue day in and day out. And so it's much, much more than just putting the plug in the jug. It's a day by day pursuit of my higher power and continuing to allow him to strip away the layers of self that get in the way of being of maximum service to my higher power and those that he's put in my life. So I've heard it said it's a living, loving, learning, growing program. And it's, what is it? There's a story in the back, I think, that says AA is not a program that we can be over and done with. It's something that has depth and weight, and something that we can pursue for a lifetime. So Keep at it. Keep coming back. Love y'all. Look up, aim up, and continue to rise up.